Shalom to the household of faith. This is another lesson coming at you through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Barakako Dashu. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. In this lesson, I'm going to be talking about this article released by NPR.org, dated December 20th, 2025. And the title reads, North Carolina's Lumbee tribe receives full federal recognition after 137-year effort. All right. And where I'm going with this is that as one thing that we teach within the Hebrew Israelite ministry, particularly of the teachings of Great Millstone, is that it's not just so-called black people that are the true Jews, the true Hebrew Israelites. It's also, when I say true Jews, really the Jews represent the Southern Kingdom, which would be the so-called Negroes, Haitians, West Indians. But, just for the sake of the video. But when we teach that the Hebrew Israelites, God's chosen people, we don't teach that it's just so-called Negroes. It's also the Hispanics and the Native Americans. And this is, this lesson is going to go into that. It's the Hispanics and the Native Americans as well. It's not just so-called blacks. So, just scanning through this article, it says after a 137-year struggle, the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina has finally received full federal recognition from the U.S. government. So basically, Jake is being acknowledged by the oppressor. That's what they've been fighting for, acknowledgement by the oppressor. It says members of the Native American tribe shed tears as it reached the historic milestone in Washington, D.C. this week. Tribal chairman John Lowry witnessed President Trump sign a bill that extended acknowledgement to the tribe at the White House on Thursday. I didn't even know acknowledgement was in there. It says, I'm so thankful for today for everyone who has helped us along the way, everyone from our ancestors from the late 1880s all the way up to present day. So many people have been a part of this fight, Lowry said in a video posted to the tribe's social media accounts. Okay, federal lawmakers included the Lumbee Fairness Act in the $900 billion annual military spending package. The Lumbee tribe of North Carolina has 55,000 members. The tribal territory is located in the southeastern part of the state in Robeson, Hope, Cumberland, and Scotland counties. Federal recognition opens the door to an expanse of federal resources for tribes. Federally recognized tribes are eligible to receive federal funding from the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Benefits include support for housing, education, and health care. Yeah, so basically just trinkets and benefits from the enemy. My people have received benefits and do not know me. It says, I do believe that the biggest benefit we're going to receive as a tribe is Indian health services, Lowry said during the press conference Friday. For our people who do not have health care insurance or our people who have high health care insurance, they will be able to work through Indian health services to get them. So anyway, so long story short, this is aid and assistance from the oppressor, the same people that oppressed you and put you in reservations and, taking all your resources. They're giving you some trinkets back, which is a curse. And this is how we identify who the Hebrew Israelites are today, because we are the lost tribes of the house of Israel. We're people that have been lost and nationality hidden, into these last days where the Most High will send the Holy Spirit down and reveal the truth. Like it says in 2 Ezra 6, the truth shall spring up. Let me go there since I'm close. 2 Ezra 6. And 28, it says, as for faith, it shall flourish. Because what we believe in begins with faith, right? It says, corruption shall be overcome. Lies is what comes to mind. And the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared. Right, because lies have been the standard of this earth. Everything is rooted in lies and falsehood. So what truth, which has been so long without fruit, because what? Revelation 20 said that he would be loosed and that he would go and deceive the world. So the Edomites have deceived the world into, believing everything that's supposed to be right is left. And everything that's supposed to be left is right. This Deuteronomy 28:48. It says, therefore, shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee. And that's what the Lord did with the Edomites, beginning with the Spanish Cristobal Colon, his people, the British, the French. Okay, it says he will shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And that's what the tribes, even these so-called Native American tribes, they're in need. They're in need of things: thirst, hunger, resources, help, funding, healthcare. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. So the Lord will put us in these various captivity states. Beginning with the northern kingdom being taken off under captivity to the Assyrians. That was the beginning. Then the southern kingdom went under Babylon, the Medes, the Greeks, the Romans. Esau came over here. Then he punished the so-called Hispanic Native Americans, put the yoke of iron upon them. Now, he physically had the yoke of iron upon the southern kingdom, which is us, so-called Negroes, but he put the yoke of iron on the northern kingdom in different other ways. He made these treaties with them. Let's go to Psalms 50 and 20. It says, thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's sons. These things hast thou done and kept silence, thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. See, Lord, Esau been having a field day with so-called Native Americans, Hispanics, and Negroes. And what is the Lord doing? He's putting us together. He's setting us in order to reprove him right before his eyes. That's what this video is. It might seem low level or nothing, but the fact that I'm a so-called Negro that has this knowledge and has this testimony, you so-called Negro, Hispanic, Native American, scattered tribe, might look like other nations, you're listening, you have this testimony, you're coming together in order. See, this is how it begins. Now, the one I wanted was something about the covenant. I thought it was in here. The covenant. It's supposed to be in this chapter, though, ain't it? So, Lucky, I'm going to look forward and I'm going to go back. Because I got something I want to bring out with my ChatGPT as well. Psalm 55 and 20, that's it. He hath put forth his hands such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. And we always use that to go into the various treaties made with the so-called Native American Indians that the Edomites have broken. Hundreds of treaties, which is what agreements, them, putting their word on things, and then them reneging and being wicked, backstabbing. Again, it says, he hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. And the Native Americans were at peace with Christopher Columbus. They were in the spirit of peace. They weren't trying to make war with them, but like the verse after this says, it says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn out swords. So the Edomites have always been in the spirit of war, but they speak peaceably. They're devils. So going back to this article, because I said, what ethnic racial groups are the most oppressed in the United States of America? Right? It says this question depends on what you mean by oppressed and which measurable outcomes you care about. Wealth, incarceration, health, political power, violence. If we strip away slogans and look at consistent long-term data, a clear hierarchy emerges. I'll be direct. Bottom line, by sustained multi-dimensional disadvantage, Black Americans, number one, Black Americans, descendants of U.S. slavery, most consistently oppressed across the widest range of metrics. This is an indicator that we are the Israelites, man. We are the most oppressed in this country. Wealth, key indicators, wealth. Median Black households, wealth, 10 to 15% of white households. Incarceration, 5 times higher than whites. Police use of force, disproportionately high. Health, higher infant mortality, lower expectancy. And the curses go into all this. It goes into the wealth, how we would be the tail and not the head, how we would go into the enemy for the one of all things. It talks about the yoke of iron upon our neck, which is the captivity right here. Incarceration, 5 times higher than whites. Police use of force. What is that? What curse is that? Thy life, day and night. Deuteronomy 28 and 66. In thy life, we'll start at 65. And among these nations, right, because the verse 64 goes into the scattering. We were scattered across the 4 corners of the earth. That's why we not at home. We not in our own land. So Deuteronomy 28:65, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease. No ease. Let's look up ease. What's that? Ease is ragai. Ragai is the root word. Ragai. To act in an instant, stir up, disturb, to make a twinkling, to rest. Yeah, we're not at rest. Micah 2 and 10. So it says, among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. That's why Jake's so depressed out here. Jake, stay on the weed, on the alcohol, on the drugs, because we're depressed. We have sorrow of mind, man. No ease. Verse 66, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. Because them blue lights get behind you. You don't know if this your last day. That's why Jake be so fearful dealing with the police. Look up different versions of this. NLT, your life will constantly hang in the balance. You will live day and night in fear, unsure if you will survive. Man, the Lord did this to us, bro. You can't tell me this Bible ain't real, man. And these ain't the real breakdowns. Education and housing, long-term effects of segregation, redlining, school funding gaps. Yeah, and I bear witness to this. I work within education. I see the differences in the schools, the racial demographics, the different, I see it, man. Historical continuity, slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, mass incarceration, present. See, and this is all a part of the testimony against these devils, man. This is why they want to silence this. They think that if they can erase these statistics, these facts, and move forward in life where people don't remember these things, this erases them from their debts, their sins. But the Most High, as it tells you in Revelation 18, the sins of Babylon have reached the heavens, and he have remembered her iniquity. Lord is going to judge this place, and he going to judge these devils that did this to us, man. And that's why they're going to get the harshest judgment ever known to man once the Lord does this. And then eventually they're going to be eradicated off the face of the earth after 1,000 years of them building up our kingdom. What's number 2? Native Americans, indigenous peoples. It says small population, extreme neglect, often invisible in national conversations. People don't even talk about these people. That's why when I saw this, it caught my eye. I'm like, who? The Lumbee tribe, because I actually been to Lumberton County, North Carolina, and I'm aware that there was a tribe because I remember seeing signs there. So, but you don't really think about these people. These are so-called Native Americans. These are so-called Native Americans, and you never hear about them, see them. It's like they're invisible. What else? Key indicators: poverty among the highest rates in the country, life expectancy lower than any other racial group, violence extremely high rates, infrastructure, many reservations lack clean water, healthcare access, political power minimal despite treaty obligations. There you go, the treaties. So they're treaty obligations to assist these people, and they're not being assisted. That's that Psalms 55 that we read. They experience structural abandonment, not just discrimination. And what's number 3? Latino, Hispanic Americans, especially Latino and undocumented populations. So the main things: income, wealth, labor exploitation, immigration, enforcement, education, And then it lists a couple other, I'm going to be fair. It lists two others, black immigrants, and then it lists poor white Americans, but they don't matter. The top three is what we've been saying, which is that the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Hebrew Israelites. We are the chosen people of God according to the Bible. And that's why we're in this condition. And the Lord has a plan with this. All right. It's not like he just left us and put us here for our demise. Let's get Baruch chapter 2. Let's try chapter 4. Let's see. Sold to the nations. That might be Baruch 2. Oh, Baruch 4. 4 and 5. It says, "Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction. But because you moved God to wrath, you were delivered unto your enemies. For you provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not unto God." See, and it's okay. The Lord didn't put us in this condition to destroy us and condemn us, but at the end of the day, for the salvation for those who believe in his son. And that's the time we at. The Lord is about to turn the captivity. Let's get that scripture. The days will come when I will turn it to captivity, because we're in the captivity. Turn captivity. Let's get Deuteronomy 30 and 3. That then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. Now, this was in Deuteronomy. So this is way before the Lord did any scattering. This is when the Lord just brought us out of Egypt, and we were making our way into the Holy Land. So this is Zephaniah 3 and 20, and I'm going to close out. It says, "At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you." Yep, so I will bring you again, even in the time that I gather. He's gathering us through what? When you read Baruch chapter 4. I got to get a bigger phone. Shit. Baruch chapter 4 and 37, it says, "Lo, thy sons come, whom thou sentest away. They come gathered together from the east to the west by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of God." So it's the word that's gathering us from these places we've been scattered. So Zephaniah 3 and 20, "At that time will I bring you again." All right, take us back home. "Even in the time that I gather you," he's gathering us by the word, "for I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith the Lord." We in that time where the Lord is going to liberate his people, and these sorrows, these things that we experience here, they're not going to be anymore. All right, so I just wanted to bring this out and make the point that so-called Native Americans are the tribes as well. You can go to Genesis 49 and 1. "And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall before you in the last days." Right? And then you going down into Reuben, which is dealing with the Seminole Indians. And then you have Gad, or God. Where is he at? In 19, it says, "God, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last." And that's going into, the cavalry of Esau. Esau's his colonial forces coming in and putting the so-called Native Americans in captivity, but the Native Americans so-called are going to overcome in the end. So I'm going to close there. Pray this was edifying. Shalom.